The glamour of Hollywood is always filled with romance, lavish weddings, and dream couples. But behind the perfect facade lies a dark side: betrayal, infidelity, addiction, violence, and even bitter divorces. Relationships that once created worldwide admiration quickly turned into tragedies, leaving a lasting mark on the careers of the stars in the middle of their lives. These are the dream marriages that have become nightmares in the film capital. Christina Ricci and James Heardegan started out with a sweet love story. They met on the set of Pan Am in 2011, quickly fell in love, and got married in 2013. At that time, many believed that the famous actress of the Addams family had finally found a peaceful place after years of living in the bright lights of Hollywood. The quiet wedding, private life, and the appearance of her first son made Christina's small family look like a happy new beginning. But behind that door was a dark truth. Their marriage quickly turned into hell with allegations of abuse. Christina revealed that she was controlled, abused both mentally and physically, and lived in fear. By 2020, after 7 years of marriage, things came to a head when she filed for divorce and at the same time sought an emergency restraining order to protect herself and her son. Facing the media, Christina Ricci did not choose to be silent. She publicly stated the truth, affirming that the safety of herself and her son was more important than maintaining a toxic marriage. That action made many people admire, because in a world where the pressure to maintain an image often forces artists to hide, Christina dared to speak up to free herself. The story ends not with a romantic relationship, but with liberation from violence. It becomes clear proof that love cannot exist without safety, and sometimes the greatest courage is to dare to leave, to protect yourself. Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Philippe. Reese Witherspoon and Ryan Philippe were once considered the icons of Hollywood love in the late 1990s. They first met in 1997 at a birthday party where Reese accidentally joked that Ryan was her gift that day. The initial vibration quickly turned into a sweet love, and just 1 year later, the two appeared together in the movie Cruel Intentions. The image of the young, attractive couple on the screen made the audience believe that this was a dream love story. In 1999, Reese and Ryan held a romantic wedding, marking the beginning of a small family admired by all of Hollywood. 2 children were born one after another, making their marriage even more the model of the perfect family that the public craved. On the red carpet, they stood side by side in gorgeous outfits, exchanging loving glances, making everyone believe that their love was inseparable. But the truth behind it was completely different, as Reese's career continued to soar, especially after the Big Bang, with the prestigious Oscar for his role in Walk the Line. Ryan began to feel insecure. He was gradually overshadowed by his wife's halo, and from there, jealousy, self-consciousness, and invisible pressure began to creep into their life together. Rumors of infidelity surrounding Ryan further fueled the conflict, turning the once-admired happy home into a place filled with tension. In public, Reese and Ryan still tried to maintain a good image, smiling and holding hands on the red carpet, but when the door closed, the arguments, indifference, and growing distance gradually made their love lose its vitality. Reese later frankly admitted that they had gotten married too early, when they were too young and lacked the maturity to maintain a lasting marriage. That love may have been sincere, but it came at the wrong time, and so it quickly fell apart. In 2006, after 7 years of marriage, they officially divorced. A love that was once likened to a fairy tale, seemingly eternal, eventually became one of Hollywood's most regrettable broken marriages. And that story is a clear proof that in the dazzling halo of fame, love not only needs passion, but also maturity, understanding, and thoughtfulness to last long. Janet Jackson and Wissam El-Mana. Janet Jackson, global pop icon, youngest sister of the famous Jackson family, surprised the world when she publicly married Qatari billionaire businessman Wissam El-Mana in 2012. This marriage was initially described as a lavish dream. Janet, after many years of being famous for her singing career, found love in the arms of a successful, rich, and powerful man. Fans call this a modern fairy tale. The world-famous singer and the billionaire businessman lived in a glamorous, luxurious world with expensive villas, high-class trips, and lavish parties. Everything seemed to have drawn a picture of a perfect home. However, that sparkling shell could not hide the truth behind. The marriage gradually turned into a gilded cage where Janet lost her inherent freedom. Wiesem was known as a strict man, and when they entered married life, that strictness gradually turned into control. Janet began to have to follow many strict rules, gradually moving away from her previous free artist habits. From a star who always shone brightly on stage, praised by the whole world, she became a woman imprisoned in isolation and invisible pressure. Relatives and audiences all felt the change in her. She appeared less smiled, less, and was no longer the explosive Janet Jackson of the past. When Janet became pregnant and gave birth to her first son in 2017, many people thought that it would be the lifeline to save the marriage, but the reality was the opposite. Motherhood made Janet realize that she could no longer live in restraint. Just a few months after giving birth, she filed for divorce, ending a seemingly perfect marriage. The story of Janet Jackson. Wissam Almana has become a clear proof that luxury and power can buy a splendid wedding, but cannot buy freedom, happiness, and balance in love. When independence and freedom are lost, love, no matter how romantic it starts out, is no longer valuable. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan were once Hollywood's dream love models. They met in the late 1980s, quickly fell in love, and got married in 1991. At that time, both were at the peak of their careers. Meg Ryan was the queen of romantic movies with a series of memorable roles in When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail, while Dennis Quaid was loved by audiences for his rugged appearance and rising career. Their combination not only made the public admire them, but also created the image of a true golden couple, both handsome and talented. For nearly a decade, Meg and Dennis built a happy family with a son, Jack Quaid, who later also pursued an acting career. They often appeared on the red carpet with bright smiles, making the audience believe that this was a rare, lasting marriage in the turbulent world of Hollywood. But behind the glamour were cracks that gradually grew over time. The turning point came in 2000 when Meg Ryan starred in the movie Proof of Life with Russell Crowe. Rumors of an extramarital affair between her and Crowe exploded in the media, quickly becoming one of the biggest scandals of that time. Secret photos, gossip, and sensational articles caused Meg Ryan, who was once considered the Jade Girl of Hollywood, to fall into an image crisis. In the blink of an eye, she went from being a symbol of romantic love to a name associated with adultery and betrayal. Meg and Dennis' marriage, which was already shaky, could not withstand this storm. In 2001, they officially divorced. Dennis Quaid was devastated, admitting that he was severely hurt, both mentally and spiritually. Meanwhile, Meg Ryan's career went downhill. Big roles gradually decreased, the public turned their backs, and the image of the rom-com queen also disappeared. The breakup of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan is not only a heartbreaking end to a once-admired love, but also a harsh reminder that infidelity can not only kill a marriage, but can also destroy the artistic legacy that a star has painstakingly built. Heidi Klum and Seal were once hailed as one of the most beautiful and romantic couples in the international entertainment industry. The German supermodel and the famous British singer got married in 2005 in a romantic setting on the Mexican coast. In particular, they attracted attention when they held a private ceremony every year to renew their marriage vows, an act that made the public believe that this was a lasting love, rare in the glamorous and fragile world of showbiz. However, behind those perfect images was a stormy reality. Their marriage was covered by jealousy and fierce arguments. Seal, with a strong and sometimes outspoken personality, was often suspicious and insecure about Heidi's busy schedule and relationships in the fashion world. These conflicts were initially hidden behind sweet public gestures, but later they became more and more difficult to control. The climax was in 2012 when Heidi Klum unexpectedly filed for divorce. Seal did not hesitate to hint in the media that the cause of the breakup was betrayal. Although he later softened his tone, public opinion still did not stop talking. Images of the splendid vow ceremonies that once made everyone admire suddenly became bitter evidence. The ostentatious actions on the outside could not hide the deep cracks on the inside. The Heidi Klum-Seal marriage, once considered a symbol of romantic love, eventually left only a bitter message. Marriage is not maintained by flashy gestures, but by true trust and understanding between two people. Kim Kardashian, Kris Humphries. Kim Kardashian, the famous reality TV star, met basketball player Kris Humphries in 2010. The couple quickly attracted attention due to their contrasting personalities. One was a global entertainment star, the other was an NBA player. After a few months of dating, their relationship progressed rapidly, and Humphries decided to propose to Kim with a 205-carat diamond ring worth about $2 million. In August 2011, they held a lavish wedding in Montecito, California. The event cost more than $10 million, making it one of the most expensive weddings in Hollywood. The entire wedding was filmed and aired as two special episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, attracting millions of viewers worldwide. In the eyes of the public, this was a real-life fairy tale. However, as soon as the spotlight went out, conflicts arose. Kim was criticized for being too focused on image and media, while Humphries wanted a simple family life. Behind-the-scenes footage showed obvious tension, raising suspicions that the entire marriage was just a stunt to attract ratings. On October 31, 2011, after only 72 days of marriage, Kim filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Humphries objected, claiming he was deceived, and filed for an annulment instead of divorce. The legal battle lasted more than 2 years and only ended in April 2013, when the two sides reached an agreement. This divorce became one of the shortest and most scandalous marriages in Hollywood. Kim Kardashian was heavily criticized by the public, who said she used her marriage as a PR tool. However, in the long run, she still turned the noise into leverage for her personal brand. Kris Humphries, on the other hand, was seen as an unwilling groom, and his basketball career quickly faded away. This is forever remembered as a typical example of the frivolity and calculation in marriage under the Hollywood halo. Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain are one of the most passionate and tragic love stories in music history. They met in the early 1990s when Nirvana was on the way to becoming a legend, with the album Nevermind. From the beginning, Courtney was drawn to Kurt's vulnerability and sensitivity, while Kurt was captivated by Courtney's rebellious, explosive, and defiant personality. In 1992, they married in a simple ceremony in Hawaii, Courtney wearing a dress that once belonged to Frances Bean, daughter of Francis Farmer, and soon after gave birth to their daughter, Frances Bean Cobain. On the surface, it was the passionate love of two artistic souls, but behind the scenes, this marriage was associated with drugs, dependence, and endless turmoil. Both often fell into addiction, leaving many shocking images in the public eye. The press at that time described them as the dangerous couple of rock music, madly in love, but also self-destructive. That relationship was not only strained by drugs, but also by the pressure of fame that weighed heavily on Cobain's shoulders. He became the symbol of an entire generation, but always felt suffocated in that role. Courtney, with her explosive personality, sometimes became a support, but also often became a catalyst that deepened the tragedy. Many people believed that the combination between them was a fire too big, burning brightly, but soon burning everything. In April 1994, Kurt Cobain passed away at the age of 27, leaving the whole world in shock. That tragic death immediately turned the Courtney-Kurt love into a sad symbol of rock, a passionate love, daring to live life to the fullest, but too toxic to survive. Courtney Love, from then until now, has always associated her name with Cobain, like a wound that never heals. Their story reveals the naked truth: passion can burn down barriers, but it cannot heal deep wounds. And sometimes the strongest love is the most destructive, is the most destructive, is the most destructive. Johnny Depp met Amber Heard on the set of The Rum Diary 2009. At that time, Depp was still in a long-term relationship with Vanessa Paradis. After breaking up with Paradis, Depp and Heard began dating publicly in 2012. They quickly became the focus of the media when one was a veteran Hollywood star, the other was a promising young actress. In 2015, the two held a lavish wedding at their home in Los Angeles and continued the celebration on Depp's private island in the Bahamas. The media called them Hollywood's new golden couple. However, after just over a year of living together, Heard filed for divorce in May 2016, accusing Depp of domestic abuse. From there, everything turned into a public war. Heard appeared in court with bruises on her face, asking for a restraining order. Depp denied all of the allegations, claiming he was the victim of fabricated stories for personal gain. The two signed a divorce agreement in 2017 with a settlement of $7 million, which Heard announced would be donated to charity. The story did not stop there. In 2018, Heard wrote an article in the Washington Post implying that she had been a victim of domestic violence. Although Depp was not mentioned by name, the article directly affected his career. He was removed from the Fantastic Beasts series and lost contracts with many major film studios. Depp sued Heard for defamation for $50 million. Heard countersued, demanding $100 million. In 2022, the case was heard publicly in Virginia, becoming the trial of the century. A series of shocking evidence, text messages, recordings, and testimonies were released. Both accused each other of mental and physical abuse. After a 6-week trial, a jury found Heard guilty of defamation and ordered Depp to pay more than $10 million in damages. Depp also had to pay a nominal $2 million to Heard on a minor charge. The trial ended, but both their reputations were severely damaged. Depp gradually regained his image thanks to public support, while Heard faced a wave of criticism and left Hollywood to live in Europe. Conclusion. This is one of the most tumultuous marriages and divorces in Hollywood history, where love turned into a legal and media battle, leaving lasting consequences for both. Madonna, a global pop icon, a woman who always makes the world follow her every move, met British director Guy Ritchie in the late 1990s. At that time, the combination of a top American star and a talented director from the UK was considered a true power couple. Their wedding took place in 2000 in an ancient castle in Scotland, lavish, romantic, and widely followed by the press. Many people believed that this combination would write an admirable chapter of love, where art and fame blend together. In the early years of marriage, the two raised their son Rocco together and adopted David Banda from Malawi. The image of a happy family with a balance between artistic aura and a peaceful home was admired by the public. However, the cultural and lifestyle differences between Madonna and Guy Ritchie gradually became a big barrier. Madonna is used to a free and easygoing lifestyle and always puts her global career first. Meanwhile, Guy Ritchie is a traditional British man who likes a simple life attached to his native culture. The gap is growing, and the arguments are getting more and more intense. From silent conflicts, the relationship quickly turned into public contempt. They no longer hesitate to criticize each other in the media. Madonna is considered too ambitious, too controlling, while Ritchie shows contempt for his wife's lifestyle. When mutual respect disappears, love gradually becomes meaningless. Their divorce in 2008 became one of the most expensive and noisy breakups in the entertainment industry. Millions of dollars were spent to settle, and the whole world followed every detail of the legal battle. That bitter ending is clear proof that geographical distance does not kill love, but disrespect can destroy it faster than anything. Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux were once a couple that made Hollywood media explode when they officially announced their relationship in 2011. The two quickly became the center of attention because of the combination of one of the world's most beloved TV actresses with a writer and actor with a romantic and individual style. They fell in love passionately, often appeared together at major events, and culminated in a discreet but warm wedding that took place in 2015 in a private villa in Bel Air. At that time, the audience believed that Jennifer had finally found a happy place after the noisy breakups in the past. However, marriage is not only nurtured by passion. When the sweet days passed, the harsh reality gradually became clear. Jennifer was attached to Los Angeles, where she had a career, friends, and the halo of Hollywood. Justin preferred the dynamic, creative lifestyle of New York, the city he considered his spiritual home. Two people, two worlds, two different lifestyles, and an almost irreconcilable geographical distance. At first, they tried to overcome it with flights back and forth, with compromises and efforts to keep the fire burning. But over time, the distance became an invisible wall, turning small differences into big conflicts. Jennifer needed stability, while Justin craved freedom and new experiences. Love was still there, but presence was not enough, and gradually both realized that they were living two parallel lives. In 2018, they announced their separation, ending a marriage that lasted just over 2 years. The story of Jennifer Aniston and Justin Theroux shows a simple but harsh truth. Love can start with passion, but to be sustainable, it needs real companionship and presence, not just promises from afar. Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz were once symbols of youthful and rebellious love in the late 1980s. They met when they were both in their 20s, full of enthusiasm and personality. Lisa, the star of The Cosby Show, was charming with her wild and free beauty, while Lenny, a young musician on a journey to find his place, had the free-spirited, dusty charm of an artist who lived his life for music. In 1987, they got married and quickly became a different couple, breaking all Hollywood standards with their bohemian rock and roll style. Not long after their daughter Zoe Kravitz was born, making the image of that young artistic family even more attractive in the eyes of the public. However, the halo and temptation of fame gradually became a deep gap. As Lenny's career took off, he was drawn into the frenetic pace of a rock star, long tours, fleeting relationships, and a wild lifestyle. Meanwhile, Lisa needed a stable home and a strong family to raise her children. These two opposing directions quickly caused the marriage to fall apart. Lenny Kravitz later admitted that he was never really ready for commitment at a young age, as he still longed for freedom rather than responsibility. The marriage ended in 1993 after only a few short years, leaving many regrets. Lisa Bonet and Lenny Kravitz remained friends and raised Zoe together, but the once-burning love soon faded. Their story is a clear proof that you cannot build a sustainable home when one person is still chasing freedom, because stability and responsibility can never go hand in hand with wings that still desire to fly far. Sometimes the truth is darker than fiction, and what you've just seen is only the tip of the iceberg. Who do you think is still hiding shocking secrets? Drop their name in the comments, and they might be featured in our next video. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because even crazier twists are coming your way. See you soon, and remember, in showbiz, the drama never sleeps.